So I'm going to pick up a package that got sent to me. These boxes are big. And here it is. The boxes that the Sterling Pacific luggages came in might seem pretty standard, but that's really the only standard thing about it. When you open it up, you'll find the luggage is fully protected by airbags that are specifically shaped to fit the contours of the luggage. The luggage is also covered in a dust cover that can be reused over and over again. This is perfect when you need to store your luggage in between trips. Pull off the dust covers and that reveals the Sterling Pacific suitcases. The vintage modern look of these bags is a little mix of old and new. Both the carry-on and the checked bag have very similar features, with the checked bag just being an expanded size of the carry-on. The carry-on weighs in at around 10 pounds. The checked bag weighs in around 17 pounds. Looking at the bags from the side, they're almost the same depth. The checked bag is just taller and wider than the carry-on bag. All right, let's take a closer look at some of the features of these suitcases. First aspect that immediately stands out to me at least are the leather handles. These handles are located on the top and the side, which makes it easy to grab the bag in and out of overhead bins and trunks of cars. While some luggage companies have leather handles, I don't think they're actually real leather. However, these handles are made of high quality Italian full grain leather according to their website. In addition to the grab handles, the telescoping handle is also covered in leather as well. It is fully made of aluminum, which is known for its strength and durability. The only parts that are not aluminum are these little bumpers and these leather handles that I mentioned earlier. The structure and build of the Sterling Pacific bags feel stronger and stiffer than some of the other aluminum bags that I have.
So some luggage companies make this part out of plastic. Well, actually a lot of luggage companies make this out of plastic, but for Sterling Pacific, they make this out of metal aluminum, which is really nice because it has a really nice reinforcement, and the metal down here is pretty thick.
The corners of the bags are fully covered and reinforced, which will pretty much make it difficult to dent from the corners. Both the checked and the carry-on bag has 2 TSA approved locks with a 3-number combo lock on each side. Additionally, the serial number is located along the sides of the bag as well. So both the carry-on and the checked bag are trunk style. Trunk style means like this upper part is smaller and there's like the larger well or the larger area to pack your stuff down below. Typically, other bags are split down the middle where it's a bifold sort of style clamshell where it's split pretty evenly, where the trunk style is this is smaller and this is a little thicker. When you open the suitcase, you slide open the TSA locks and the latches release pretty aggressively. The suitcase doesn't open 180 degrees like most luggages. Instead, it opens to 90 degrees and is supported by these hinges on the side. The interior of the bag is lined with this brown fabric, which looks nice and is soft to the touch. However, they can work on their sewing as it appears to be quite crooked in some places. The branding and the serial numbers are stamped into it as well. There's also a pocket on the lid part of the bag that keeps a few items, and on the checked bag there are 2 additional shoe pouches. Something that's unique about these suitcases is that it comes with a small amenities kit that includes leather care wax and a cloth, a manual, and an aluminum pen, which is a nice touch for a high-end bag. The contents of the bag can be strapped down with these 2 buckles, which are the nicest buckles I've seen in any luggage. They are metal buckles and have this satisfying clicking sound. So there's a lot to like about these bags. The build quality, the aluminum, the detailing, the leather handles are all a nice touch. But to really put them to the test, I'm gonna take these out on a real world trip and see how they hold up. So let's pack these bags and let's get going. This just might be a minor thing, but it seems like these bags rattle a lot. They make like this rattling sound. Whenever they go over bumps or like going through the parking lot, they kind of just rattle. after taking the checked bag and the carry-on on a round-trip flight between San Diego and Dallas, I have some thoughts. Let's go through the pros and cons. First up, pros. The suitcase definitely looks slick and turns head in a good way when rolling through an airport. When the sun hits it, it really shines. The leather handles were a particularly nice feature, providing a cushiony grip that made it comfortable to carry the bags around by hand. And when I started rolling them, I was impressed how smoothly and effortlessly the wheels glided over the floors. The trunk style design of the suitcase made for a spacious interior, allowing us to pack as much as possible for the trip. As for the carry-on bag, it held up well throughout my travels and still looks almost new. When you get an aluminum bag, you have to set the expectation that it might get dented, dinged, and scratched, but it's a bonus if it doesn't. However, the same cannot be said for the checked bag. While it performed adequately, it did show some signs of wear and tear just after one trip, so let's get into the cons. Like what I mentioned earlier, when you get an aluminum suitcase, especially a checked aluminum suitcase, you have to understand it's gonna get dented, dinged, and scratched and take a beating. There's really no way around it. However, just after one trip, the dents and dings on the checked bag are pretty bad compared to other checked bags that I've had in the past. There are dents on the front and back, especially around the edges, which might be a little bit too sharp or maybe not strong enough. One thing that really concerns me is that the top of the checked bag is dented in, likely because of the handle and the bag being jammed into another bag, or the sidewall of a conveyor belt, or the belly of the plane. This is not good because it breaks the seal and now the top of the checked bag is permanently dented in. Another thing is that the button on the side leather handle came off and is missing. Now it's exposed and it's pretty sharp. So in short, the damage on the checked bag is pretty bad. I mean, you expect damage, but not this bad. One of the reasons for this might be the awkward proportions of the bag. It's just so tall, and you can see me unloading and maneuvering it. It's just such an awkward shape and size. Even seeing some of the bag check-in staff move it around, it's just really odd. Another thing that concerns me is that the carry-on has two latches to keep the suitcase closed. The checked bag has the same two latches, but is much bigger and can be filled with much heavier content, especially the way the lid wiggles around when the bag's even locked. I know bag handling might be different depending on airlines and airports, but the checked bag definitely took a beating just from this one trip. Another big con for me was that the suitcases only have two wheels. They aren't the four-wheeled rollers that most suitcases have now these days. Rolling the carry-on bag down the aisle of the plane was difficult. I would bump and snag into the seat. At one point, I just carried the carry-on bag sideways to avoid all of this. Maybe the bag is meant for private air travel or business class and not economy travel. The two wheels on the checked bag also made it difficult to maneuver at times, barely squeezing in between cars. I appreciate the strong and well-built wheels, but our personal preference is that four-wheeled rollers are much easier to move around. You can let me know what your preference is in the comments. Do you like two wheels or do you like four wheels? Now let's talk about the price. You can decide whether the price is a pro or a con. The 80-liter checked bag is priced at nearly $2,000 and the carry-on bag is around $1,500. This is comparable to other high-end aluminum bags in the market today. You're paying high-end money, you should expect a high-end product, and for the most part, the suitcases do feel high-end. So based on all this information and my personal preference, I think the carry-on would be a good buy if it had four wheels. Once it's a four-wheel roller, then I would consider it as an option to buy a high-end piece of luggage that looks different from everything else you see at the airport. As for the checked bag, we don't like the shape, size, and its proportions. It's just really awkward and difficult to maneuver, especially since it only has two wheels, and the damage is sustained from just one trip is really concerning. So that's my honest feedback and review of these Sterling Pacific suitcases. Based on what you know now about the pros and cons and the price, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And this is also my first travel related product review, so please let me know if you want to see more of these product reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.